Welcome to today's stream, guys. It's me, absolutehabibi. Absolutehabibi, yeah. My air really good. Pray for his life. We'll get talented and bitch's daughter. So welcome. We're back to infinitely scaling as Russia, but I'm feeling way better on this Russia than my last Russia times playing Russia. Because I know the mission tree a lot better. I'm in very good. Okay, let me say that again. I'm feeling really good about our political situation, our scaling situation, our manpower situation. Everything's looking really juicy and looking up for us in this campaign. I'm very close to getting another 10 dev costs, so that's going to make it cheaper to dev. Although it is already pretty cheap to dev in a lot of provinces. We go back to simple terrain and dev map mode and build more universities. Wherever we don't have universities, we build them. And yeah, so the entire idea of our scaling here is just universities, deving, manufactories. 424, no, we get talented and ambitious daughter. I roll for it. You can get 5 morale there for 100 years. Okay, there we go. An absolute monarchy. That's going to give us admin points, and then the Great Imperial Ambition. So that's going to give us 50 prestige. Unlock the Imperial Russian missions. A Western approach happens to us. Modernization happens. So we don't actually get Western units until we get Westernized the military. And now we need to win 40 battles. Now that's clicked. I'd rather get the reinforced speed than land maintenance on Streltsy. And then click this. Strengthen the Patriarch Tier 4 reform. What is my Tier 4 reform right now? Yeah, that's just a better version of what we already have. In the Governing Senate, advisor cost minus 15 for 20 years. And then we can abolish the Governing Senate, culture conversion time. Yearly government power. Yeah, we want that one. So yeah, guys, I played EU5. Well, I played a lot of EU5 over the last couple of weeks. And I released a video after playing it for 100 hours. There was a couple of challenges with that video. Paradox basically said, hey, like to the influencers they gave it to, they basically made some requirements. They said we couldn't make it over 30 minutes long, and we can't show past the first 100 years, since there's a lot of stuff that they want to announce after the first 100 years that they haven't talked about yet in dev diaries, and they didn't want influencers saying it. And then I guess the 30 minutes long is just so influencers don't just like farm like bunch of content off of the early access. You know, it's just like one video, 30 minutes, that's it. And it's like whatever you put in the video, that's what you get. In those 100 hours, all I did was play Ottomans. I'm not even joking. I played a little bit of Granada to see what that's like. Pretty interesting start, Granada. Definitely doable. It's not like impossible to win as Granada. It's actually, I already found a strategy that you can win as Granada with. It does require a lot of mercenaries, but it is possible. It is possible. Oh, a 6/6 general, dude. Very good. We're rolling for talented and ambitious daughter. You already know me, dude. My name is absolutehabibi. I roll for talented and ambitious daughter. Okay, let's pay off one of our loans. Oh, that's our last loan. Good. Then back to this map mode. And we want to just keep building universities. Keep spamming universities. Hey, yo. Real war? White piece. Sorry, wrong person. Yeah, so you can check out me playing EU5 on that link. That's me playing EU5. I'll be releasing on Saturday a full like review video, plus breaking down more of the stuff that I did in my EU5 playthrough video on Saturday. So on Saturday on my main EU5 EU4 channel, EU5 channel, on my main EU, well technically right now it is a EU5 channel. Yeah, someone, I already knew which comment is yours. Yeah, the optimization does need work. One thing I can say is that if you just play on the 2D map, you get really nice, like, without streaming, without the 3D map, I was getting like, when I wasn't recording, I mean, I was getting like 90 FPS solid. Except after the game runs for 2 hours, I think there's a little bit of a memory leak, but that's like something that will be done in optimization. What I think about the American Pope? It was kind of weird that the American Pope literally got announced at the same time EU5 got announced. Did you guys notice that? I was like, that's like such a weird coincidence. The new Pope was announced the same time EU5 was announced. That's a weird coincidence, chat. You think MP will be viable? I think, what can I say? What can I say? EU5 MP. I know that they are not ignoring it. And I know that they have tested with 10 players with no problems. But, you know, I don't think they have 60 devs to try out a 60-player game, dude. I think that a lot of people are going to be boxed out of playing MP due to PC performance. Kind of like Victoria 3. Like, there's a lot of people who play EU4 multiplayer and then they want to play EU5 Vic 3 multiplayer. And then they just can't play it because their PC is just... They're just constantly slowing down their game because their PC is just not good enough for it. Not garbage. Just not good enough for Victoria 3 multiplayer. I think, of course, the same thing will happen. I mean, when we play CK3 multiplayer, it's the same thing. What do you think about the UI? I think the UI could use some work. I gave my feedback on that, though. I think, though, from hey, what's up, Rothbard? I did give feedback on the one thing, though, with any Paradox game, especially Europa Universalis 5 and Europa Universalis 4, when you first enter the game and you never played the game before and you see all those pop-ups, dude, like, look at my EU4 pop-ups right now. You guys know what's up. You guys know, okay, he can take technology, but he's not going to take technology because it's too early. Oh, he can upgrade a great project, but, you know, he's saving money for universities. He has a truce. Oh, he has decisions, but none of these decisions, like maybe this one. Okay, we got more missionary strength. Let's go. None of these decisions, like, you know, are impactful right now. Missions, he's holding a mission. Ooh, this is good. Early industrialization. Okay, we're already doing the modern missions pretty fast. That one's going to be tough. That one's also going to be tough. Income of 841. I mean, we can get it. Like, and it's the same thing with EU5. When you first go in, you're like, oh my god, pop-ups. Like, but then the pop-ups are like, RGOs lacking laborers. And it's like, I know RGOs are lacking laborers. I just built a RGO up where there was no laborers to promote peasants to laborers. But it's like you still get a pop-up. RGO, and then like one building out of the 100 million buildings you have in EU5. One building is not profitable. Boom, pop-up. Building not profitable. Yeah, dude, I was just talking about that. Isn't it such a weird coincidence that EU5 and the new Pope got announced around the same time? It was like within 10 minutes of each other. The end of the EU5 announcement and the new Pope. It was literally within like 5-10 minutes of each other. Such a weird coincidence. But yeah, that's one thing is like, you know, if you come from CK3 though, you don't really have that problem, or you know, you deal with all your pop-ups in CK3. Oh yeah, bro. The optimization needs work. Like I said, on Saturday, I'm going to be giving my like unfiltered thoughts and impressions on Saturday. I really struggled posting that video because since it's a new title, I wanted to just spend a lot of time explaining things because I didn't really explain things well. I kind of just like brushed over like literally everything in that video. But it's because I had 30 minutes. That was the requirement. 30 minutes. Every YouTuber had the same requirements, and you can notice that if you look at the playlist for all of the EU5 play sets. If there are railways in EU5, then the game will last like 500 years. If it lasts to EU4's end date, it's 500 years. Yeah, well, there was an issue that they didn't know about where the game didn't install properly if you didn't have documents in English. That's already a fixed problem though. But yes, the Russian and Chinese content creators couldn't even boot the game because the game didn't install properly because their documents folder wasn't named documents. It was named something in Russian or Chinese. But the devs already fixed that. But that was the only issue of someone who couldn't run the game like at all. And like I said, for if you just do the 2D map, and I think I said that in the video, I was like, the 2D map probably will be mandatory in multiplayer games. It's like rules to play EU5 multiplayer. You must play with the 2D map. Also, again, I know there's no point arguing this, but the start date just Jesus, lol. You don't like the start date? I played Vic 3 on release, and I played CK3 on release, and I played CK3. I played 50 hours, and then I just felt like everything was repeating and everything was the same. I played Vic 3 on release, and I played about 150 hours. Then I started feeling like everything is just looping and it's the same. I played EU5, the pre-build, without missions, by the way. Missions are completely being reworked, and the build we had didn't have them yet. I played EU5 without missions, and I spent the entire 100 hours optimizing the first 100 years as Ottomans. And if I could play the game again, because I'm no longer playing the game right now, if I could play the game again, I really, really would like to try some other play styles and nations, and also non-traditional nations. Because in EU5, you can play as a bank, or you can play as one of the Shogun clans, or you can play as a military nation. Will there be idea groups? Idea groups are essentially just rescaled and rethought of. I wouldn't say just replaced because they're their own thing, but basically national ideas. Every single age in EU5. Yeah, you can play as a bank in EU5. So every age in EU5, you have 3 choices. You can either do a military focus, an admin focus, or a dip focus. And that unlocks unique techs where you can't get the other 2 if you pick one. So if you pick admin focus in the first age pop-up, you can't get the advances from the dip or the mil focus. And, you know, it works like that vice versa. Additionally, unique flavor and like power spikes from nations come from advances instead, which honestly I like because there's a lot of EU4 national ideas that don't make sense. There's like there's ideas in the national idea groups where it's like, you know, old France. It's like Show Ilan. That was like a French revolutionary thing. It wasn't really like a Kingdom of France thing. But hey, you unlock Show Ilan in 1400s in EU4. You missed last session. What happened? Scaling. We beat up Bukhara. I forgot if we fought another player war, but we're now in we're in the part of Russia where we just sit and scale up forever. Was there any coordination on who would play what? No. So that wasn't a sponsored post, just so you guys know. That post that I did on YouTube, !EU5. We're about to conquer Manchuria. We're waiting for the truce. Oh yeah, let's go. The truce is up. Let's go conquer Manchuria, chat. So that wasn't a sponsored post. So now that that's happened, I can let you guys know what happened. Paradox said, hey, like, you know, the influencer manager messaged me, said, hey, we really want to show you something in Spain on this date. Do you think you can go? Already, I kind of knew what was happening. Spain, that's the Tinto office. Tinto office, Europa Universalis brand. That's what it says on the Tinto news when Tinto got released. That they're focusing on the Paradox brand. So right away, I knew, okay, they want to show me EU5 and like get my thoughts on it. They invited a bunch of us content creators. We went to the Tinto office. I brought my wife because she's pregnant, and I didn't feel good leaving her in California with my 6-year-old daughter alone for a week. You know, with twin pregnancy, I've talked about this. The pregnancy for her was much tougher than her first one. So we go there, and then they're like, "Okay, guys, I think you know why we brought you here. We want to show you EU5." We had NDAs beforehand, and all of the developers like basically talked about different features that are unique to EU5. Like, for example, the music is dynamic, so depending on what you're doing in the game, the music is either more or less intense, and every track has levels. And other things like, you know, the quality of your troops changes how your troops look like, and stuff like that. So they showcased us this, and Johan also played through the UI. That Johan, like himself, he in front of a bunch of influencers and press, because press was there too, showed us the UI. Okay. Then afterwards, after they showed us the game, Jonathan said, the influencer manager said, you guys will be able to play this game and you all can make a video. It won't be sponsored though, because we want your actual thoughts and your opinions. We don't want, you know, we don't want just positive feedback. We want negative feedback too. But if you give negative feedback, like tell us too. Like, don't just give it in the video. Tell us too in through private channels. So yeah, we got EU5, and it's not a sponsored video. But he said, if you're gonna post, you gotta post on this time. And there was zero coordination between us content creators. Some of like the smaller content creators tried to gauge what everyone was doing so they can do something unique. Like Generalist wanted to do something no one else was doing. So he like gauged a lot of the other YouTubers, what they were doing. I was pretty open. I said I want to do Ottomans. I'm really excited to play Ottomans. There's no information about releases. I don't know when it's releasing. I'm pretty sure Paradox has like an internal date, but they're not going to release the internal date. That doesn't make any sense. Like, because internal date, they'll release it when they're like sure that that's the date, because delaying games is such a bad look nowadays. It's better you just don't, and then, you know, when you have a solid release date, you release it as a finished game, you know? Yeah, Lord Lambert, that was, I called him on Discord too, because I didn't want him to get in trouble. Honestly, it was an honest mistake that he didn't know about. I know about that thing. So basically, if you make a video unlisted, which we all made our videos unlisted because we shared them with Paradox so they can share them on their channels. They can share all of the games on their channels, and the developers can watch our videos as well in one playlist. He put it there, and then he put it in his Tinto Talks playlist, not knowing that unlisted videos show on public playlists. I know that happens because back when I was uploading 3 times a day, oh my god, dude, remember those days? 3 times a week. Back when I was uploading 3 times a week, there was a time I put a video on a public playlist, and someone messaged me like, hey, I can see this video on this playlist. I don't think I should be able to see it yet. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then that's when I learned unlisted videos show in public playlists. And that's the mistake Lord Lambert did. He probably, like a lot of us, scrambled to finish the video by last night because, dude, I didn't have enough time to play, man. I wish I played more, because one really good thing about EU5 that is like a mark of a good game. Oh, my wife is FaceTiming me. Sorry, I was on the phone with my wife. We had another appointment. She was calling me to tell me that the babies are all healthy. Did I ever play Deadlock again? No. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so that's what happened. We got EU5 for about 3 weeks, I think. Maybe less than that. I don't recall. Come on, talented and bitch's daughter. Let's go. Talented and bitch's daughter. So yeah, the one thing that okay, so like I said, I played CK3 on release and I got bored of it after 50 hours. I played Vic 3 on release and I got bored of it after like 100 hours, okay? I played EU5 without missions because, like I said, missions are getting completely reworked and they didn't have the reworked one ready for the influencer build because we were playing on a specific build of the game. And when I played EU5, I spent 100 hours replaying Ottomans over and over and over again. Because every time I played Ottomans, I would find something and I would go like, whoa, that is insane. I should do this. Oh, whoa, that's insane. I should do this. Oh, whoa, this is insane. I should do this. And I kept learning stuff about the game that was like, okay, this is like gonna completely change things. Like how to deal with the Black Death. When I first got the Black Death, I loaded up the game, loaded up Ottomans. 10 years into the game, Black Death hits and I lose like 900k pops out of like a total of 1.5 million. So I lost like more than half of my pops to the Black Death. And I was like, oh, what the hell? How did this even happen, dude? Is this supposed to happen? And then the developers were like, yes, historically, the Black Death killed around 150 million people worldwide. And I looked in the game and it killed 150 million people worldwide. And it especially impacted really hard Anatolia, Balkans, and the Middle East. So then I learned, oh, okay, you need more medicaments on your market because a surplus of medicaments helps people get more plague resistance. Oh, you need to build hospitals in all of your cities because the hospitals give more plague resistance. Oh, you know, putting laws to isolate your country can actually help, even though it kind of can screw you over in the long run. Oh, you know, we're gonna lose a lot of pops in the Black Death anyways, so I should just use my levies to assault every single fort in the first 10 years because that's gonna let me conquest super fast, super early, and then those pops are gonna die anyways. Pop is from my experience, and this is actually a problem with the game, so it's not all good. It's not all good. Money is too easy to come by once you know what to do. And in EU5, you maximize trade, you dominate a market. If you don't already dominate a market, you dominate a market. I can't have adulteress for a queen. You dominate the market. Let me get a royal marriage with this guy. You dominate a market. So basically, the loop for making money. You dominate a market, do a bajillion trades, because what trade advantage does in the game is it basically makes your exports go out first. And exports are like the way trades make money. So if you have things to export, you make money. And you can play full trader mode where you import from a cheap market and export it to another market that you have access to that cheap market doesn't have access to. For example, furs are very cheap in the Novgorod market, but they're very expensive in, I don't know, the French market, for example. So if you're playing as the Hansa, you can buy fur from Novgorod and then sell them to France. What you do, the loop to make a lot of money, and this is what I discovered, is you maximize trade first. So you spam marketplaces, spam buildings that give you trade advantage, give you more trade routes. You spam those buildings. Then when you spam those buildings, you then upgrade all of the high resource and buildings that make goods that are very valuable. And then you just start spreading those goods all over the world. So once you do that, you're suddenly making like 100 balance every month, which is like really crazy, because by like 1479 you feel like, I don't know what to do with all this money. It gets to that. It gets to a point where you cap on pops before money in the first like 200 years of the game, if you know what you're doing. All right, so that's like not a good thing. Okay. Was it me that discovered it? We had a Discord group where all of the people that had early access were chatting and talking with one another, because honestly it was so hard not talking about EU5. So having that influencer group was amazing, because you can talk thoughts, you can do that. And not only that, Paradox devs were there and we could give feedback to them and stuff like that. So that was something that like that I discovered and other content creators discovered pretty early on. You maximize trade, you'll make a lot of money. And even if you don't necessarily have good trade goods, like I also did a Portugal run for the first 100 years to see how colonization plays out. You can just keep trading between markets that don't have access to each other. So, you know, as Portugal, you have access to Mali, which none of the other Europeans have access to. And there's cheap goods in the Mali market that you can sell to other Europeans. And there's expensive goods for the Africans that the Europeans have for cheap. So, yeah, like trade maxing, really easy way. Is colonization good? Anyone can colonize in Project Caesar and EU5. Anyone can colonize. Literally anyone can colonize. But it's a lot slower if you don't have the right advances. And Portugal has boosts to it that other nations don't have. That's where like some of their unique advances come from. And that's something that I noticed with a lot of the unique advances. They're very similar to EU5's. They're very, very similar to EU5's national ideas, with more flavor. And then you also have your unique laws and your unique government reforms that weren't in EU4. So it was like a general consensus. Okay, yeah, trade is the way you go. And you play like a nation like Milan, who can get very high dominance in Genoa, which is basically the highest value market. Like even as Ottomans, once I owned all of like Egypt, Syria, Anatolia, my market was then able to compete with Genoa. But with Genoa, there's just so many trade nations maxing trade that the market becomes insanely valuable. Is colonization good? It's more realistic, where you don't see where your explorers are going and your explorers can fail and they can like die on the way. Oh my god, deving is so cheap for me now. Did I take a look at the tags in Americas? There's so many, dude. There's so many tags in America. So many tags. Another not so, and yeah, do I think EU5 multiplayer will be better than EU4 multiplayer? The problem with the new Paradox titles is that you need a pretty good computer to like play without slowing down the game. And I say that like because you can play Vic 3 single player, low settings, you know, you're getting like 20 frames per second. Game is running slower compared to other people, but you can play the game. But if you're in a multiplayer game, you're just constantly slowing down the game. And that's definitely going to be a problem with EU5 multiplayer on release, is that there's people that are just going to slow down the lobby. I think like down the line, it has a lot of potential. Is it only 50 years early, Conquest of Egypt? It's like 100 years early. Conquest of Egypt is 1500. Plus, that's probably not going to be possible. I mentioned this in the video, like slightly. Unions are not working as designed. So the way unions work is that you get a union, and then basically until you get the inheritance laws, the union breaks off. And due to the Ottomans' unique inheritance law, the union will always break off. So you're literally not meant to have unions as Ottomans. That's what it feels like. And they shouldn't get unions. Ottomans shouldn't get unions, in my opinion. Like, you can hold the union, and if your ruler is young, maybe, and he rules for 50 years, maybe you can then integrate. But yeah, they're not working as designed right now. Unions in the build that we had. Again, we had one build, and we found like a bunch of problems, and the developers were like, okay, we're on that, we're fixing that. But we didn't get to play with what they fixed, right? Obviously not, right? Because they because they weren't giving us a live update build, because they were just giving us a stable build that we can make like a video out of, right? Because live builds, you know, like one like missed bracket and the game just suddenly doesn't work anymore, right? So or brick saves. Let's say a content creator is working on like a video and then they update a live update, and then okay, well, I have to restart my whole video again because they made a live update. You guys are asking a lot of questions. I'm trying to answer as much as I can. Let me see. Okay, let's go down the list. Is Ottomans annexing Egypt in one go in the game by default? No, it's not. It is not. And I believe that's something that the devs like are debating with. Like, should you be able to annex all of Egypt as Ottomans? Will the AI do that a bunch? Are the players just gonna constantly be dealing with the monster Ottomans? Why do we have because I'm like talking and the game is running so fast and I'm trying to dev. Here's what we can do to maximize our money more and have even more money. And also, let's dump into a monument too. Yeah, let's get this one. Just like go around upgrading monuments and trade centers. Easy way to spend money. Berg host is OP, and it's so OP that when we play with any other host, people complain, and it makes all other hosts look really bad, when in reality Berg host is just really good. He's in a really good place for hosting. Norway is actually very good in terms of internet lines, and then he also has a strong computer, so it's like double combination, really great host. So yeah, that isn't in the game, and being able to annex Mamluks the way I did probably won't be on the game in release, okay? Because to finish my train of thought, I keep getting distracted. Sorry, today was a really long day for me. I had to wake up early. I'm gonna take like a nice 4-hour nap after the stream. Nothing extra after stream today. Doesn't Berg dislike hosting? He does dislike hosting, which is why it makes it even worse, because he doesn't want to host games, but then his host is so good, people are like, please host. Please host, Bergenson, please. 100 crownlands, let's go. Okay. So do you need weapons to field an army? Yes. So each unit requires different things, different goods in order to be fielded. For example, an armored horseman is going to need iron, plate mail. He's going to need weaponry. He's going to need horses, right? So armored horseman, for example, requires a lot of goods. Cannons require a cannon, and each stack carries one cannon. So if you have 7 cannon regiments, you have 7 cannons in your army. And they're manned by 5 dudes, 50 dudes. So yes, levies don't require their own weaponry. Dude, I keep getting distracted. So having no mill goods means that your army, there's no debuffs that I know of, but you will get you won't be able to build new units, and your units won't reinforce. So let's say you have a lack of horses in your market, and you have a bunch of horsemen, and you just took a battle, and you have a lack of horsemen. Your horsemen will not reinforce. It will not reinforce. So, and there's another thing about EU5 that gives defenders a huge advantage. Your units do not reinforce unless they're in your territory. So let's say I'm Russia, I'm invading Poland. I need to if I fight a big battle, I need to bring my armies that fought the battle back if I want to reinforce them, if we're playing EU5. Yes, I would say that the trade system is better than Imperator Rome for sure. better, way better. EU5, the UI is still a work in progress. The UI is still a work in progress. That was something that they kept telling us. Then there was a change from the build that we played in Spain to the one that we made the videos out of. Yeah, and there's sometimes, like, if you watch my video, I navally invaded Egypt, and every single battle and every single siege I got, and then disease started spreading in my army while I was sieging Egypt. And I had like malaria, influenza, I had like 5 different smallpox. I had all these diseases in my army. And I was like, I need to win this war now because I can't afford sending my army back to Anatolia to go reinforce and then bring it back to Egypt. I need to just assault the capital, win a big battle, siege a little bit, and win. And that's exactly what I did. I first got a little bit of war score by winning battles in Anatolia, sieging down all of Mamluk's holdings in Anatolia. Then I used the big navy to just ship 20k troops into Egypt, assaulted Alexandria, assaulted Cairo, took a big battle in the Delta, and then won the war. And yeah, so like once disease breaks out in your army, dude, it's such a disaster. And the worst part about it, which is it's worse, like it's like a good thing. Your diseased army spreads disease to the tiles they're sitting on. That was something that I learned from the Black Death. So the Black Death happens, and I had an army. Used to have like a small, very small, like elite standing army in the beginning of the game. The Black Death spread to that army, and I was sitting that army on my capital. So the Black Death wasn't leaving my capital because I was spreading it using my army. So I was like, once your army gets disease, just send it to the most depopulated rural tile you have. Yeah, and you can also use troops to spread disease in other people's lands. It's like, oh, dude, my army caught influenza. Hey, can you give me mill access real quick? Do I think it's balanced for multiplayer? Honest answer, no, dude. No, but from what I've seen and heard, the EU5 modding tools are leagues ahead of EU4 modding tools. And there's also a supported, I don't know, this was something that I was told. There's a supported language group. So you can just import it and they will you'll have autocomplete while modding. Yeah, so assaulting gets harder later in the game. It's not like that so much, but early game assaulting is just really strong. One thing is that buildings cost are tied to the materials they need. So let's say you're building a castle. A castle needs just like a shit ton of stone. Okay, that's like the first level fort, a castle. That just needs a shit ton of stone. So if you have like a huge influx of stone on your market, you can just start building forts everywhere, giga cheap. And some nations do that. The AI, if they have like a lot of cheap stone on their market, they just spam forts everywhere. That was something that I didn't like. Like my something that kept happening in the Constantinople node was that stone and wood became dirt cheap, which is amazing for the player because, you know, you're just building buildings for dirt cheap. And you know, suddenly you look at all the AIs that are also in your market and they have 20 forts on every single tile. Culture conversion time. You're right. Good call. Oh, I need to dev. So if you're new to this game, we're doing a culture conversion build, primary culture maxing on Muscovy. Basically, we have bonuses to primary culture like manpower and primary culture and dev and true culture. So basically, the build is centered around being just one culture, Muscovite, even in accepted places. You can see I already converted all of here Muscovite. I converted all of Finland. So yeah, that's the build that we're playing today in this game. Just to go back to this game real quick for those that are interested. Because I know I'm just yapping about EU5. But I know a lot of you guys want to know about EU5 because I just released a EU5 video on my YouTube channel. On my main YouTube channel. Let's go spend... what does this give? Movement speed. Yeah. This is a good monument. So what was I saying? So yeah, like I don't think that the setup of EU5, like, and I was thinking about this. I was like, what would even be the slots in EU5 multiplayer? And I don't necessarily think that's a problem because think about it, guys, even in EU4, there's not really like the setup isn't really the most conducive to a good healthy game. And the nations that are really OP get nerfed or have like a counterpart that they need to face in the early game that slow them down, aka Ottomans, Mamluks, Burgundy, France, VJ Bahamanes. Vid was a banger. I'm glad you thought so. So you got to just make slots and mod them. Because, like, for example, how do you slot the Middle East, dude? Mamluks are just way stronger than everyone in the beginning. If you slot an Ottomans and a Mamluks player, Ottomans scales way better. So Mamluks player will just rush down Ottomans. And that's not even if you include other people that are near the region. Like, what if you include a Karamanids or Byzantines, Byzantium? And for sure, when EU5 releases, we're not gonna do like 50 player lobbies, dude. It's gonna be like 15 player lobbies. And as the game gets optimized better, and you know, performance gets better, and people's PCs get better relatively to the game. Ooh, Luxstella, 46465. That's a 15 points. That is 14 points. That is 14 points. So I'm just gonna go with this guy because he's objectively the best. No talent in a bitch's daughter, but I'll take the 645. Do we have a good consort at least, though? Yeah. I don't think lag will be a problem if you enforce 2D map. If you enforce 2D map for EU5 multiplayer, I don't think you'll have a problem. It's just, all right, guys. It's like the rules for Victoria 3. Turn off VSync. Turn off anti-aliasing, cap FPS to 30. And then boom, you have like no desyncs with like 30 player lobbies. I think it's going to be the same thing on EU5. It's going to be like turn off VSync, go to low graphics, and play with 2D map. Is it GPU or CPU limited? Definitely RAM limited. RAM limited. But that is something that there's top priority to fix for their optimization, the game's optimization. Because like the video said, there isn't even a release date for the game. They need to focus, and that's something I'm going to say in my Saturday video. If honest review, there's some mechanics that need to be adjusted. Overall, the game has a really good setup, and it is a game where you're like so much to learn. Money making is a little bit too easy in EU5. And fighting wars where you're controlling more than like 40k troops is right now laggy. But if Paradox, by they I mean Paradox, if Paradox really just focus on the optimization, you're like, okay, take the features you already have, add missions, of course, because like people expect missions on release. So I think you should release with missions. So add missions, add a little bit more flavor to some more tags, because some tags are really lacking in flavor. That was apparent, you know, from just, you know, looking at the screen, the pick your nation screen. If you do that and just focus optimization, you're going to have a really good game on release. Are we going to bully Bukhara this session? We are over gov cap, and I'm just going to keep scaling. We're making so much mana right now that if I fight a war with this mana generation, I'm going to cap mana. And I'm not even fighting war, and I'm capping mana. Yes, the game right now, was like taking 21 gigs of RAM. I'm not even joking. 20 gigs of RAM. If I opened up a Google tab while I was recording, the game drops to like 10 FPS. And that happened a couple times where I was like, would play some music or something because I was playing without music for the video. So you can get that ambiance and stuff like that. Yeah, the RAM usage is too much. But like I said, that's something that is one of their top priorities is optimization. Optimization. Which it should be. 32 gigs was the RAM I had. 32 gigs DDR4. If I had DDR5, it would have been way better, I think. Just like new gen RAM. I would need a new motherboard for that though. I would probably have to do like a whole PC build outside of my graphics card, just reuse my graphics card. But yeah, in terms of GPU, not that intensive. And you can do things to reduce GPU's usage, like reducing shadow quality, turning off animated portraits, stuff like that. Yeah. You have to realize that EU5's pop system is very intensive on the RAM and the CPU. And something I noticed is the more pops you have, the less frames you got. That's what happened with me. But that's my honest take. I'm going to be releasing a video on Saturday with more details. I'm also going to break down more of the stuff I'm doing in detail in that video. I'm going to start with like my review. But that is my honest opinion, not paid opinion. It's a very ambitious. There's like a bajillion features. I just hope that they don't get like dragged down by all these features. But if they get the optimization down, have all of the features like solid and, you know, rebalance a couple things, you have a really good game on your hands. And just to reiterate, guys, I played Vic 3 on launch. I played CK3 on launch. CK3, 50 hours, I was bored. I felt like I was getting the same events over and over and over again. I felt there was a huge lack of flavor. I felt like it was way too easy. Victoria 3, once you figure out the loop, same thing. It feels too easy. There was a huge lack of like flavor on day one and felt like just like an empty shell. Victoria 3, and that's just, I'm being completely honest, Paradox. Like, I'm not trying to like just be a bad mouther. That was just the reality. EU5 does not feel like that at all. EU5 does not feel like that at all. It does not feel like an empty shell. As a matter of fact, it feels the opposite, where you playing in the game and you're just like realizing a lot of the potential. Like, I really wonder what playing as like a banking nation feels like. So banking nations, you're hosted in countries and you can get other nations to host you. And then you can build unique bank buildings. You can build unique bank buildings in that nation that they fill the jobs with using their pops. And then you take loans of other nations, offer them like, you know, offer them money. I did play Portugal in EU5. You do get a head start to colonization, but so does Spain. And Spain AI, for some reason, really loves colonization at EU5. Like, they find, in all my games, Spain finds the New World in like 1370. I mean, you could do the same as Portugal, but I was like trying to go for like historical and like going around the Cape of Good Hope and finding India that way. But by the time I reached like South Africa, Spain already found the New World. Portugal's unique advances, they have a couple really cool unique advances. They have a unique building. I think that they might have gone a little too crazy with the amount of location tags and other things. I think it's fine. I played a little bit in the HRE, and this is something I already gave my feedback on. HRE is pop-up hell. So you're playing in the HRE, and you're Catholic. So every time something in the HRE happens, you get a pop-up. Like, oh, this thing became a free city. This incident is happening. This is going on. You're also getting pop-ups for the 100 Years' War, the 100 Years' War situation. And you're also getting Catholic pop-ups because every time a Catholic nation dies, you get a pop-up saying, oh, the Catholics are weaker. This nation has been annexed. And every time a nation leaves Catholicism, because there's a couple Christian events before the Reformation, like the Cathars and the Hussites, you also get a pop-up. Oh, this nation changed to this heresy. The Catholics are weaker. And me and a couple other content creators already talked to them about that, saying that they're looking into it. So yeah, playing in the HRE, especially if you're the Emperor, there's also a weird interaction that if you're the Emperor of the HRE. So they ported over EU4 Free City event. So Free City, there's like this Free City event where you either lose prestige or you lose imperial authority, right? It's like a negative event that happens with free cities. Happens like every couple of years if you're Emperor of the HRE, if there's like a lot of tags in EU4. And as there's less tags, it becomes less frequent and less free cities. But in EU5, there's like way more free cities. So if you're the Emperor, you're getting like 3 times a year plus negative authority or negative prestige events, where it's like either you're going to chill at 0 authority or you're going to chill at 0 prestige. Your choice. That's something that's already been fixed too. But that was something that we had in our build, which is why I was like, I'm not going to play in the HRE right now. I'll leave it to when it gets better. New ages are locked by years. Yes. The only, I would say, like, for sure, it's too easy to get money. Someone asked, is the AI better? AI is better than EU4, I would say, overall. Especially like subject AI. Like, subjects are so useful. They find like the one little way. They like siege the other side. They get boats and they get on boats and siege for you on islands and stuff, which you never see subjects do in EU4. Well, at least I can't recall, but it happens all the time in EU5. But the AI is still a little bit too easy to exploit and needs improvements. You know, this is not, I'm not here just like, gassing up the game. There's definitely a lot of things. It's definitely not ready for release. Like if it released tomorrow, a lot of people would complain about optimization and small balance things. Like you can abuse the AI's decision making. And I actually did that in my Ottoman game. If you just try, let's say you're fighting Ottomans versus Mamluks in EU4. You take, let's say Ottomans has the same lands. I mean, Mamluks and Ottomans have the same lands they did in my EU5 video. In EU4, you siege 1 fort, 2 forts, 3 forts, 4 forts, you're on their capital. On EU5, you have to siege like 10 forts. And also in EU5, something I didn't cover in my video, you have to worry about supply lines or your troops will start starving. So not only do you have to siege like 20 forts to get to Egypt, and 20 is an exaggeration, but not only do you have to siege a bunch of forts to get to Egypt, you have to fully maintain your supply line as you go down. Because if the AI comes and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to run up here and I'm going to siege this fort. And if you don't notice and I get this fort, all of your army south of that fort is going to start starving unless you have naval dominance. And if you have naval dominance, you need to start using boats to resupply your troops via the water. And depending on how big your army is, you're going to need a lot of boats to do that. Did I test colonies? I tested colonization, not colonies. One thing that I thought was funky is that you only needed 1 finished colony to make a colonial nation. And you can make colonial nations anywhere. That I thought was a little funky. I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't play enough with it to know. But yes, so you need to like maintain a supply line, and a valid strategy is to keep like harassing and pestering their like weakest point of their supply line to make them starve. Because remember, if they just starve for 1 tick, if an army starves for 1 tick while in army territory, and let's say they starve, 5% of the army dies, that 5% of the army doesn't come back. In EU4, you reinforce faster in homelands. In EU5, you don't reinforce unless you are in your own territory. I think also your subject's territory. And so if you're running around like I was, and I'll be honest, I did that war twice against Mamluks. First, I just tried the normal way, and I defeated them in like 10 battles. But by the time I got to Egypt, my army was so depleted that I couldn't keep pushing the siege and also defend my supply line. I couldn't do it. So that's when I was like, I need to be more creative if I want to win this war for the YouTube video. So I reloaded. I wasn't playing Iron Man. Why would you play Iron Man in a test build? That doesn't make any sense. But I redid the thing, and then that's when I learned that you can kind of make AI do bad decisions by doing certain things. So what I did is I put 2 big armies. I split up my army into 4 big armies, a mix of regular troops and levies, because, you know, you're fighting a real war. You want a mix of both in the early game. This is Sweden. It's a Scandinavia, dude. It's Denmark, Scandinavia, not a Sweden, Scandinavia. You can tell by how it looks. I think I already have a discounted div advisor. Yeah, I do. So in EU5, yeah, I figured out, oh, if you just siege Anatolia and then put armies behind the forts, the AI kind of gets like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Because you put a big army in Egypt, a big army in Anatolia, and the AI is like bouncing back and forth, like, I don't know what to do. And it weighs professional armies, because professional armies are way better than levies. Way better than levies. I was thinking, though, there could be a way to noble max, okay, in the early game, especially as a nation as France. I was actually thinking about this just yesterday. In EU5, you can build buildings that make more nobles, okay? So you can build these buildings all over your nation that make more nobles. Then you can do the recruitment law that you get 20% more noble. Oh, discounted advisor is coming in the clutch now. You can do a law to get more noble levies. And then now your levies have like a bunch of plated knights. So your levies are actually giga strong. But you would need a lot of nobles to make that work. And you would also need you would need to not have anything that reduces noble levy size. Can you migration max in EU5? There's no, as far as I can tell, in the first 2 ages of the game, there's no inter-migration. Is inter the right word? There's no cross-country migration. I'll just say it like that. There's no cross-country migration. I think in the late game, there is cross-country migration. I believe. I'm not sure. I shouldn't confirm that. But no, it's not like in the early game, you can make like a heaven of land and people will flock to your country like Victoria 3. No, that's not a thing in EU5. This is Muscovite. They migrate inside your country, and you can see me hover over that in my video a couple times. They do migrate, and there's also interactions you can do to encourage migrations to certain tiles, like using your cabinet slot to encourage migration. And it does work pretty effectively. Like if you want to get, let's say you're playing Portugal, and you want more people to live in the Azores so you can build a town there, because towns give you more control. Control is basically like autonomy in EU4, but it's like much harder to manage in EU5. Let's say you want more control. No, let's say, what was I saying? Yeah, there's a huge war going on here. Let's spectate this while we build up. Sorry, the game is running so fast. It's so hard for me to talk and also play the game. How well do the mechanics prevent blobbing in EU5? I'd say pretty good. You're pretty disencouraged to blob because blobbing means nothing if you can't control your land. And you can't control your land if you can't integrate it. And integration takes quite a while. Unless you're Ottomans. Ottomans have advances to boost their integration speed, and they also have events to boost integration speed, which is unique to the Ottomans. What about the GovCap penalties in this game? We need to build more courthouses. We need like more buildings than development. Hopefully next tech is governing capacity. It is. We're also done with our tree, so we can start spamming this button. Our government reforms. That helps a lot. Does China fuck everything up with Megapop? No. But playing China, I opened up Yuan to see what it's like, and it was like 10 FPS. So definitely needs to be optimized better for high pops. Sure. But China doesn't ruin everything with pops, and pops don't migrate outside of countries, so they just stay in their country. And it's just like, yeah, so the anti-blobbing mechanics, like I said, if you're not Ottomans, you're like, it's very hard to like blob hard. But in the early game, because of the way vassals work in EU5 and diplomatic capacity, so in EU4, one vassal is one diplomatic capacity. In EU5, diplomatic capacity depends on the strength of the nation that the interaction's with. And that includes alliances. Let's say as Ottomans, you want to ally Mamluks. That's going to take like half of your diplomatic capacity by itself. While like 10 one province minor subjects will barely take one. Yes, there's a bunch of ways to force migrants to go to your capital. But not only that, the capital, in my experience, the capital just like attracts a lot of people. Ottomans is unique in that way too, because Constantinople is like a really nice city. So you will notice when you look at your natural pop migration that people are rushing to Constantinople. I wasn't able to show it too because of the time limit of the video, but Constantinople was the highest pop, and I forgot to show that map mode, which I'm so sad about. Constantinople was the highest pop city in the world, with like 260k people. And that was, I only did a little bit of migration maxing there. Yes, so from my experience playing EU5, it seems like you're getting encouraged to expand through vassals in the first stage of the game. It's like they're telling you, dude, you're not going to control this land. Just make vassals. That's like immediately what it feels like playing EU5. It's like, dude, you're not going to control this land. Just make vassals. You can giga stack your capital, Seb. And not only that, it's kind of good because of the control system. I hope so too, but I definitely feel like there is a meta right now, in current state. Of course, it could completely change by release, of encouraging people to live in your capital, because capitals always have 100% control. So if you get half your nation living in your capital, you will have, that sucks. If you get half your pop living in your capital, you'll have half your pops fully controlled. So you get all the tax modifiers, all the manpower modifiers, all the levy modifiers. I can't dev for land. I need to remove one thing, because I have development of temples still. Did I remove development of temples? Nah, we should just keep it. Honestly, right now, it might be worth to just stop drilling like we were last session. That's kind of accurate, no? Yeah. Everyone rushes to the capital. You have control over the capital. You have a strong nation. And control was really fun to play around with, because there's a lot of little tiny ways. There's no like, okay, do this, you get control. It's just like you do a bunch of little tiny things instead. And those little tiny things lead to you to having more control. In the current state that I was playing EU5, Ottomans definitely felt like a main character vibe, for sure. You have, and it all flows together really well. Like you have not that many accepted pops, because your primary pop Turkish starts as a minority. But you get a bonus to non-primary pop levies to help offset that. And you also get Janissary barracks, which turn slaves into soldiers. And then you also have a unique government type that is you also have a unique government type that gives you more slaves from war. So it just like is a feedback loop that feeds into itself, where you can get like very strong army. Janissaries are a really powerful unit in EU5, and then just like steamroll everyone around you. There's definitely ways to help. So as I showed in the video, there are ways to like deal with the plague, but you won't get dodged by the plague. There's literally, unless you're in Mali. Mali's a nation that doesn't get impacted by the plague, and some other like countries. I mean, American countries don't get the plague, for example, like playing as Aztecs, you don't get the plague. But on the other hand, if you're playing Aztecs, as soon as Europeans get contact with you, you get a whole bunch of other diseases like smallpox and influenza. You wanted them to name the game Project Caesar. Really? Well, that's a dev efficiency, dude. What's my favorite change of EU5? From EU4 to EU5? I really enjoy the lack of mana. I really enjoy the lack of mana. And for EU4 MP players, and I knew that EU4 MP players were saying this, and someone told me this morning. They told me, and they said, dude, I love mana. And the reason why is because mana generation and mana management in EU4 is like a skill check. In EU4, the way you manage your mana is like a skill check. You know what I mean, chat? So it's like, okay, this guy saves for, you know, he saves his mana, and he knows how to dev properly, and he knows when to take techs. Oh, okay, this guy's like better than already 90% of players that play EU4. So yeah, like I like that there's lack of mana. You have to really be like thinking about your pops, because pops are the biggest limiting factor in the build of EU5 that I built, that I played. Sorry. Like that's your biggest limiting factor is your pops. So you have to actually like plan, and like you can't just like mindlessly build, because you'll end up in a situation where your pops that are needed are eating from each other. So let's say, you know, you just like are just maximizing burger buildings, because when you open the building tab, it tells you, oh, build these burger buildings to make more money. And when you play new to the game, you're just like, okay, fine, I'll just keep building these buildings. I'll build this burger building, I'll build this burger building, I'll build this burger building, I'll build this burger building. The problem with burgers is that they're a higher class than laborers and peasants. So once people become burgers, they won't go down. They won't promote down. They could promote to nobles, but that doesn't happen because, you know, usually you have peasants and laborers. But let's say you burger max on a smaller nation, and suddenly, you know, you're lacking food or lacking a certain good, and you need to now expand resource gathering operations to get more of that good, but suddenly you don't have any laborers and there's no pops that can promote with it. You're in a death loop. That's it. You're in a death loop. I mean, watch my EU5 video. Yeah, so because of trade range is actually a modifier that matters a lot in EU5. Because of the way trade range works, I should also upgrade some forts too. Let's not fully greed here. because of the way trade range works, you can trade max way more than other nations. Like if you're in a good position. Like I mentioned Portugal. Portugal is in a really good position to trade with people that normally wouldn't get traded with, like Africans. Italy is in a really good position because they're like centered and they can trade with Middle East, they can trade with all of Europe, they can trade with North Africa, so you can make a lot of money trading. Same thing with Lubeck. Lubeck has access to all of the northern markets that don't have access to each other. So Lubeck market has access to the Novgorodian market and the England market, and this was something I already mentioned. If you micro trade, you can buy cheap goods that are cheap in the Novgorodian market but are expensive in the England market and just trade between the two markets that don't have access to each other. Yeah, I posted on YouTube. Is the Egypt market OP? It's pretty strong, but the Constantinople market is OP. The Constantinople market is... It's so good. It is so good. You have access to the Silk Road and you have access to like a lot of the Europeans. Did they notice you leaking? I didn't leak. I don't know what you're talking about. I never leaked. Are you talking about Lord Lambert? Unfortunate accident. It's like real life, oh, he didn't know moment. He didn't know that putting a unlisted video in a public playlist makes it public to everyone that sees the playlist. Can I embargo other markets? Yes, you can. And you can also stop people from trading in your market if you have high trade advantage. If you're talking about my post today, that's not a leak. That was a planned posting. Paradox said you either post at this time or you don't post at all. Non-sponsored video, by the way. Yeah. I honestly think it's a genuine mistake, so I don't think Paradox are going to be like, how could you? Now he knows. Now he knows. And now a lot of people know because Generalist didn't know that either. And he's like, well, I was about to make the same mistake. If Lord Lambert didn't make that mistake, it would have been me that leaked. Because he wanted to add... Dude, I get both the Eastern and the Western stuff. You guys are right, because I'm... Wait, what? Because I have the Western Tech Group. I get both. Alright, keep building up, keep building up, keep building up. Anyways, yeah. Any more EU5 related questions? I can't show you guys any more stuff than what I showed today. I can talk about it. I can talk about my experience. And on Saturday, I can release a review video, which I will do. I heard the Stellaris update has some issues. Saturday, I'll be releasing a review video, my like honest thoughts, and also break down the video I released today explaining more stuff. Because I know a lot of you guys still have a lot of questions. Oh my god, it's so cheap to dev here. Would have thought. I need to... Okay. Actually... no, not yet. Let's do more culture conversions. Let me look at culture map mode real quick. Let's wait for these cultures to be right. I want to click this. Can I give you the code for U5? Oh yeah, sure. Here you go, dude. You guys remember the closed beta tester for Victoria 3 that didn't like the game, so he leaked it? I remember. What time gates colonialism in game? There's no time gate to colonialism. You can colonize day one if you have the money for it. Papal States and MP. I've played an MP when it used to be a slot back in the day. I wouldn't say based AF because he kind of ruined closed beta testing for everyone and then made Paradox like paranoid about closed beta testing, even though it's like pretty necessary. Without closed beta testers, you get a game that just has huge issues on launch. Because like closed beta testers, you gotta, let's be like completely honest here. As like a YouTuber, I'm not gonna just go out and be like, this game is dog shit, I hate it, EU4 better game, You're not gonna say that because that's not constructive criticism and it's not really helpful to anyone. You know, it's just you like being angry at the developers and not making the game that you wanted. And not only that, like, it's like if Paradox suddenly is like, dude, this guy is just like annoying or an asshole or whatever, or doesn't give good feedback and just is very destructive for our process, then he just like, you know, is no longer in the good graces, let's say. But closed beta testers, their whole objective is to find problems with the game. That's the whole point of a beta tester. So beta testing is really good, and I really hope that they do, after they do more optimization, I really hope that Paradox does a closed beta test. I really hope they do that. And, you know, I'm afraid that because of the stupid thing that one guy did with Vic 3, that Paradox are just going to never do closed beta tests again, and that's going to hurt them a lot. There's like 20 EU4 videos. You guys want me to link the playlist of all the EU5 videos that released today? I can do that. Here you go. I have it already on my taskboard, on my hotbar. That's every single content creator that released a U5 video today that was allowed to. And there was definitely some EU4 like YouTubers that were just like didn't like some things in the game, like didn't like a lot of things. I'm not gonna say names, but there was a couple that were just like, I don't like this. This needs to be changed. Why would you even change this from a U4? This UI looks bad. So and the thing is, they were doing it, one of them was doing it in a very good constructive way. So I really hope that the devs listen and don't just go like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if one of the influencers are having an issue or don't like something, there's gonna be players that don't like those same things. Yeah, and the UI has changed so much throughout the dev cycle of EU5 just by looking at the Tinto talks. Like, they colored the estates, then they uncolored the estates, then they recolored the estates. That's exactly how I feel. Like, I don't think that it has a finished product. I don't think EU5 has a finished product UI, but I don't think the developers think that either. I mean, those UI workers probably working like overtime right now. So if they thought that, then they wouldn't be doing that. I don't know if that's true, that they're working overtime, but I imagine that they are because they keep changing stuff in the Tinto talks. It's like, you watch one Tinto talks and they show like something that they showed before, like a building a tooltip. And then they show in the next Tinto talks and it's different, so. The UI mines. People said the same thing about Vic 3 and CK3. And one thing that I would say that doesn't really help Paradox with EU5 is the hotkey bar. You can see me in the late game using hotkeys because, you know, using hotkeys to manage my armies. So hotkeys just show up right here and they're floating. That's one thing I just don't like. Like, it makes it kind of look like a mobile game. Like I'm meant to tap here or tap here or tap here. And I told them that I don't like this. I don't like this. We have a little gov cap here. That's good. We can expand infrastructure again. I'm deving for 3. I'm deving for 3, chat. Holy, okay. Suddenly I'm the second GP. Just from like deving. I definitely need an idea group that gives force limit. That's like a big factor here. I know it's boring to some of you chatters, but the best play for me to do in this current position as Russia is to just sit and dev. I'm deving for 3, chat. I'm deving for 3. I just sit here and dev. It's all primary culture. And you just can keep deving. I mean, we can just get force limit from deving. Like, I know to some of you guys, boring, go fight player war. But dude, I'm Russia. They should fight me. They should fight me. This province make 20k. Yeah, Russia is one of those nations where you just sit, once you get like the land you need, which in case we have all the land we need, we're the most provinces. I haven't leaked anything that I'm not allowed to leak. I'm making sure of that entirely. I don't even know that much information. I think all the information you guys know, I know. So like all the information that was released to you guys, I just knew it earlier. That's all it was. And I just had to like keep my mouth shut for, you know, for a month, which honestly was not fun, dude. Because I'm playing EU5 and I find something I like so much. And then there's like no one to talk to about it. And I just like start missing chat. And I'm like, am I really playing video games if no one's watching me, chat? Am I really playing video games if I can't tell people about it? Which was cool because then like Generalist became like my best friend over this last month. What's the thing I liked so much? I really liked the regiment management. I really liked the eco management. I really like how trade works. I really like how pop works. Those are all things that I really liked a lot. I really like the min-maxing of eco. There is a formula though. There is a formula. At least from my experience, there is a formula. Which needs to be readjusted, that's all. Entire lobby is death warring. I'm sitting and scaling to number 1 GP. I'm gonna be the elephant in the room when I'm deving like this. I'm at 1.5 million max manpower. I'm gonna be the elephant. I have manpower buildings to build. Look at this. I still have so many buildings to build. What the hell? I'm deving for 3, dude. That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense for me to war. With when you're deving for 3, chat. By the way, 3 is the minimum. Just dev here. The church is not going to reduce it. 3 is the minimum. Was it hard to learn EU5? It's overwhelming. I'd say the right thing, the correct term for it is that it's overwhelming. I think though that when you first open EU5, you're just gonna be like, ah, what is all this stuff? Trade pops, ah. But then you start getting into it, and then you learn. Oh, okay, so this. Oh, I need to do this for this. Oh, this is actually good here. Oh, I can actually scale up my literacy by doing this. Oh, I can actually like sway my nation in a certain way. Does EU5 resemble VIC3 or EU4 more? I think EU5, and I think this is by design. No idea if this is true or not. No idea if this is true or not. But it feels like EU5 is a mix of every single grand strategy, Paradox grand strategy game. From my experience, that's what it feels like. You got like a VIC2 trade system. You have a Imperator Rome population system. You have a unique building system. I'd say it's more unique than Imperator Rome. You have a CK3 dynasty management, which you can actually use to your advantage. Something I learned in that Ottoman run I was playing. Because, this is something I'm going to reveal on Saturday. So, Islamic nations in EU5 are like CK3 Islamic nations. They take the dynasty's name. So, if you are the Ottomans, you know, if you're Osmangulu, your dynasty becomes Osmangulu, like it becomes Ottomans, right? If you are Hafsids, you are the Hafsid Sultanate of Tunis. If your dynasty is, there's no university here, I'm griefing. If your dynasty is, Mubarak Shu, you become Mubarak Shu. Like that's the name of your nation. Yeah, the building system is way better than Imperator Rome. It's similar to Imperator Rome, but it's way better. So let me, I'll get to your question, Merc May. Let me continue what I'm saying. So there's a thing that happens with the Ottomans that was happening fairly often and happened to me very often. Your starting ruler is kind of old, and your starting ruler's kids don't have kids. By the time your starting ruler dies naturally, the Black Death happens. And the Black Death kills a lot of people in your court, including your ruler. So what can happen in EU5, which happened to me a couple times, is that my starting ruler died, okay? The brothers end up killing each other. So like my heirs end up killing each other because that's what happens. They end up killing each other. And then there's only one, and then that one guy, before he can ever have kids of ample age, dies from the plague. And suddenly you're not Ottomans anymore. Suddenly you are like some new random Turkish dynasty. Some random new Turkish dynasty. And that was happening a lot. So, and the developers know this, and one of my complaints was like, some dynasties should have fallback events. Like, if you're playing the Ottomans, you're playing the Ottomans. Like, it doesn't feel right. You're playing as Ottomans, and then suddenly you're a new dynasty, some random Turkish dynasty. I can't think of any Turkish dynasties on the top of my head. So yeah, like, so what I ended up doing, because in the video I wanted to be the Ottomans, I wanted to be playing as the Ottomans. I didn't want to play as some random Turkish dynasty. So I was like, okay, what I'll do is from the start, I'll have all of my sons get married to 4 women right from the beginning. That way, all of my heirs will make like 20 kids each. And that ended up leaving me in a position where I had a huge dynasty in the first 100 years, like 250 members. 250 members in my dynasty. And I was like, okay, the Ottomans are secure. But then I learned something. If you assign your family members into your cabinet and assign your family members to lead your armies. You get a shit ton of crown power, and crown power is like really good in EU5. So then I learned, oh dude, family maxing is actually good in EU5. So then I started making sure that the kids all have 4 wives. Then the kids all have 4 wives. Suddenly, it's 1420, and the house of Osmengulu is like 400 people, and somehow my family is the leading dynasty on like 20 crowns. And opening the family dynasty tree just didn't work. It just stopped working. And Morocco, and you see that in the video. The Morocco had Ottoman family as the ruler. Yemen had the family ruler as their ruler. The next heir for Tunis was the Ottoman ruler. And I had like a selection of 30 Ottoman people for cabinet members. So even though I'm using family members, because usually the downside of using family members is that usually there's someone better. It's like, yeah, you could use your family member, but hey, dude, this random guy that came into your country who's a burgher is actually better for your cabinet. So you should just put him. So like the downside is, oh, you have worse ruler. Dude, I'm literally deving as much as I can. I'm still capping, man. I need to like dev inefficiently, which is hurting my soul. Not cap. Or I need to just focus and dev up instead of talking. Yes, so the downside is that all of those nations can now claim the dynasty if they make a royal marriage with you. So, yeah. And especially as Muslim families, you can dynasty max so quickly. Because every single son can get 4 wives. Yeah, no, I'd rather talk about EU5 too, because I released a EU5 video today. So if people don't know, they know. Check it out, ! EU5. Yeah. So yeah, like I figured out from that run, oh, dynasty maxing is actually good. And I learned that because there's no fallback for Ottomans and I want to play as Ottomans. So I end up dynasty maxing anyways. Will MP countries require to run at a decent pace? No. Maybe like when you get huge size, but that's like the whole like counterbalance in EU5. It's like, oh, do you want to be big? It's like CK3 when I play CK3 with my friends. It's like, is being a big nation even good? The Odo campaign will be next week. Any Vic games this week? Probably not, dude. I'll be honest, I got burnt out from Vic 3. I got burnt out from Vic 3 for a couple reasons. First of all, Vic 3 MP players like Diplo is like so annoying to deal with compared to EU4 Diplo. Like you have to cooperate with some people and on some nations. Like it's not an option or you just die. I was getting kind of burnt out by the Vic 3 loop. But this happens. I now realize I have cycles with Vic 3. It's like Stellaris. I have cycles of Vic 3. It's not a game that I can just like play as my only game, you know, and just like only make content for that one game, kind of like how EU4 is for me. Because I get burnt out on the cycle and there's not enough uniqueness between the nations. They get a vibe of how much... Oh, I spawn many factories. Industrialized Russia. Based. Like, I'm so sad that I'm not playing EU5. They revoked my access this morning. I got a pop-up on Steam. There was actually someone streaming, and it popped up, and he was like, oh, shit, you're not supposed to know I had that yet. because the rule was we were not supposed to tell that we had access to EU5 until until the announcement came out. Then they're like, okay, you can. Did I get a feel if they're giving love to EU5? Well, Johan talked about that in the Dev Diaries. Sorry, not Dev Diaries, Tinto Talks. He said that he's not abandoning multiplayer, and multiplayer is not an afterthought for him. Multiplayer is not an afterthought for EU5. And if you look at the game, if you look at EU5, this is something that you don't see on the other titles. Online PvP, online co-op. Does EU4 say that? It does. So loud, so loud. It does. I didn't know that. So yeah, I'll say that. And I asked Johan directly, dude. I told him, hey, like, I know you like multiplayer players. And I said this to Johan, and I said this to other people as well. I said, I know that compared to single player players, multiplayer players are the minority, but multiplayer, genuinely, from my like just anecdotal evidence, small MP lobbies are what get people hooked on the game. When I first was getting into EU4, I had no DLC, dude. I had no DLC, and the base game at that time was kind of unplayable compared to with DLC. And I didn't know that. I was playing the base game and just going like, well, you know, this mechanic is kind of annoying. Oh, it's okay, I need the DLC for this. Oh, that's a little annoying. And then my friend who had all the DLC was like, why don't we just play together? And we just started playing games at the same time, like together. He had all the DLCs, and I started playing with all the DLCs, and I was like, whoa, this is so amazing with the DLC. Whoa, this is so amazing. So I told the Paradox devs, don't remove paywalling in multiplayer. Don't remove that feature. Like, trust me, I'm almost certain that you get more DLC sales that way. And the second thing is, don't like make MP an afterthought. And then Johan said to me, well, I think you will be happy to know that we've already implemented a chat box in multiplayer. Did I leak something there? I don't think I did, because he was saying that to like everyone. But yeah. Yeah, you get a taste of the goodness, and then playing the game without the DLC becomes unplayable. So then you buy the DLCs. It's a good loop. It's a smart loop, dude. Who left? How's the U5 music? Listen to my watch my U5 we demand EU4 pings. What the hell? Why didn't you ask for help? I didn't realize that what was going on. But yeah, in terms of U5, if you want to get an idea of U5 music, I played a couple tracks in my YouTube video. So if you watched my EU5 video and you like the music, well, you like the soundtrack of EU5, so. Dude, the scaling is just too much, bro. I think we've officially built universities, so let's just build some random ones. Bro. Guys, I'm the one that's infinity scaling. These other plebs, they're gonna run out of provinces. Not me, dude. I will become the elephant. Oh, these guys already have the institution. It grew in me. It spawned in me and they have it first, dude. I'm a noob. When do I consider culture deving versus deving Diplo? I usually don't I usually do not culture converts in EU4 multiplayer unless I have like so many unaccepted pops that I can't accept them all. But in this game, I'm doing a one culture Muscovy build. I have a bunch of bonuses to manpower in primary culture and also dev costs in primary culture. So that's only for the primary culture, not accepted cultures. So for this game, it's worth to do it all because not only is it good for us, it's also giga cheap, as you just saw. Another discounted advisor for when our current one dies. We can encourage vodka sales once this spreads a little bit more. Thoughts on missions? Okay, so missions in EU5. Missions in EU5, missions in EU5. Missions in EU5, when I went to Spain, were basically one-to-one missions of Imperator. So if you played Imperator Rome, it was just like that, okay? And the feedback and from the developers themselves, it didn't feel so good, okay? And I felt that way too. They weren't that impactful. It was like a bunch of little tiny things that you can go for. Oh, you know, you can get a little bit more. You can get like 500 pops from here. You can get an upgraded building early, but without having the advance. You can do this. You can do that. Like small little things. Oh, you can get claims from your mission tree. So they decided, okay, we're going to completely rework the mission trees. So they are now completely reworking the mission trees, and we have no idea what they're going to look like. They're saying that it's going to be most likely a complete rework. Most likely. Does this make players not as overwhelming versus AIs because you can't stack modifiers? I think non-stacking modifiers is in the design philosophy. Like, you can't easily tag swap, for example, in U5. It's like nearly impossible to do that. It will take you all game just to switch to one other tag that isn't your primary cultures tag. It doesn't go back with deving because I have this. Selling titles. Plus selling titles gives like barely anything because we have 100 crownlands. Remember, the less crownlands you have, the more valuable sell titles is. Bro, I want to play more EU5, dude. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Yeah, so there's modifier stacking. They said this way early on. Again, this is not a leak. If you read the Tinto talks, you would know that. One of the earliest Tinto talks, Johan said that they're going away from the modifier stacking that you see in EU4. Because let's be honest, EU4 is like a lot about modifier stacking. Just think about this campaign. I'm stacking culture conversion cost, culture conversion time, and bonuses to primary culture, and I'm just stacking them. Boom, 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 boom. 100 there, 10 there, 20 there. Stack, 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 stack. That it just becomes obscene. Is it coming out this year or not? No idea, dude. I know as much as you, my boy. I imagine that if they are announcing it, that it's not gonna be late next year. That's what I imagine. But I have no clue, dude. No clue. No freaking clue. God, why'd they give me access to the game? It's a curse. Is it good? Check out my EU5 video. Mark EU5. I had a lot of fun. I played 100 hours, and I literally, out of the 100 hours, 90 hours of those was just me playing Ottomans, dude. And learning something and going, ah, I could do that instead. Oh, I can do that instead. And dude, that's such a good feeling in a video game, man. I know it seems I'm being like a little dramatic, but dude. No, I'm allowed to talk about it. I can talk about the game now. I'm allowed to talk about the game and my experience. I can tell you guys, I just can't show you guys anything. So anything that's not in the EU5 video, I can't show. But I can explain it. Colonization in EU5, anyone can do it if you have the colonial range day one. Most nations don't have colonial range to go anywhere day one. All right, like let's say you're playing Muscovy, you're completely landlocked by a bunch of other tags. You can't explore very far, so you're pretty much like can't do it. But a nation like Sweden can start colonizing the north day one if you have the money for it. A nation like Portugal can colonize the Azores day one because Portugal doesn't start with the Azores in EU5. However, there are nations that can get early boosts to exploration and early boosts to colonization. One of those nations are Portugal. Portugal have higher colonial range and also can explore faster than other tags in this first age. So the way it works is that you need to fund money for an expedition. So you don't use your own boats. And by the way, protecting trade is not a thing in EU5, but just having a standing fleet protects trade on its own by giving slight maritime presence. So just having a navy gives you more trade power, basically. And same with Castile, yes. Oh my god. Portugal MP is coming back, dude, in EU5. I'm done with Portugal in EU4, dude. I feel like I've done everything that you can do with Portugal and MP. I feel like I've done everything. I don't know. So Portugal, so you funded an expedition. You need to, it's pretty costly. It's like a certain amount of money that you need. And with those merchants, I mean, with those expeditions, you don't see what they're doing and it can fail. So an expedition can actually fail. So you send out an expedition. The expedition goes out for for years sometimes. It goes out and then it comes back, and depending on what they see, you get more maps. Kind of surprised you main Turks. Dude, I love Turks. Turks are my favorite nation in Vic 3. They're my favorite nation in EU4. One of my favorite nations in EU4. It wasn't always that way, but they've become my favorite nation. And like I said in the video, because clearly you haven't watched it. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said in the video I released today. What's up, babe? I'm down for burgers for dinner. I'm after in an hour, I'm going to take like a 4-hour nap. Just a heads up. Had a very early morning chat. None of these burgers privileges are good. You know what? Let's get ready to declare war on Persia. One thing I'm gonna need is more force limit buildings. I know Stellaris. I'm right now working on a Stellaris video that's gonna release tomorrow. And I do want to play a new Stellaris MP roleplay game. Let's see how it goes again on my server. I'm so afraid of RP game though, dude, because there's always that one guy with 10k hours in Stellaris. He's gonna have a mega structure built in the first 30 years of the game. He's gonna be so overwhelmingly powerful that no one can do anything. Yeah, I heard that, Pyman, which is really unfortunate. Because I was so hyped for this. Oh, so hyped. So hyped. Because I wanna play Stellaris again. My flavor of the month. I think what we would do is wait for another performance patch. But they could lie, dude. Playing with new players is more fun because I don't have to sweat, dude. That's like the whole point of a RP game. That's what people don't seem to understand, okay? The only reason I like playing RP games versus just like a normal game is that I don't feel like I need to sweat or I just don't exist anymore. Pyman is one of those sweaters. He's in chat. Get him. We're catching up to Spain, chat, just by deving. No, your build was good, Pyman. I'm just giving you a hard time, dude. I'm just giving you a hard time. Okay. Yeah, that was the same reason why I wasn't feeling the RP game. You know, people were coming to me and saying, dude, you're missing out on the RP game. Why aren't you in the RP game that is hosted on your server? Look, my schedule ever since like 2 weeks ago when I started this new job, and also my other commitments, I don't have much time. And dude, I don't want to go into like my tolerance level is way lower than it was just 2 months ago with the kind of games we're playing. Dude, we're preparing for war by deving, don't you know? More development we have, the more force limit we'll have. See? We've already increased our force limit by 100. Time for cannon stack number 3. I only have 2 cannon stacks? That's crazy. So yeah, when I have to do like sweat and try hard and do giga diplomacy just to live, like in the Florence game, it just like, bro, why are we even playing an RP game? Load up a normal game, dude. Let me run you down in a normal game. Yeah, the gold mine that's not dev'd at all, I built a university there. Is there another one? That one's dev'd. Okay, we build a church here too. And then we'll dev here. I think we need to do another Habibi's daycare this summer. But I play in it this time. What do you think, chat? I agree so much, Gedko. Also, for a lot of people, RP means hug boxing to the end of the game. And then you say, why are you guys hug boxing all game? Like when Franconia and France were hug boxing. They're like, we did so many hours of diplomacy. Like, we should be allied. And then you look at Franconia's claims and it's all on France. And you look at France's claims and they're all on Franconia. And you go, that's how I went. Oh, idea group. Let's get that. And we need to go quantity ideas here. Or plutocratic. This does give force limit, but quantity is just going to be insane, I think. I think quantity is just going to be insane. What do the policies look like? Yeah, it's quantity. Yeah, it's quantity. It's quantity, it's quantity, it's quantity. You don't have to say it twice. Make sure we click this for 5 idea cost. I'm just deving to the win right now, chat. This is the Russia experience. I'm just deving to the win. Even though there isn't really winning in MP games. There's only losers. How much did I gain from that one quantity idea? 200k. This is deceiving. It's not 40% of that. It's 40% on top of your modifier. Additive modifier. Dude, with this, oh my god. We're gonna have like 1 million troops. I'm gonna go for the army hegemon. Oh, dude, I still have so many buildings to build, chat. That's why I don't want to go to war. Ah, dude, this is the problem with Russia. You know, on like when you're playing like a smaller compact nation, you know it's time for war because you literally have nothing left to build. When you're playing Russia, you just don't want war. Yeah, I think I just keep building, dude. I keep a big army to deter people from attacking us. Because, you know, when they switch off rivals, they can see our strength level. Max money war reps wouldn't even help that much. Honestly. It's time to march west. Nation ruin. Exactly how I feel. We shouldn't greed, though. We should build our forts. Build a couple random universities. Who knows? Maybe it'll be good. We can check our rivals. Okay, let's see first Persia. Persia's 20% stronger. Not surprising. Let's see Commonwealth. 7% stronger. Not surprising. Let's see Bukhara. It's free, by the way. I'm 58% stronger. Okay. Yeah, like I said, not surprising. My force limit is kind of bad for this stage of the game. They're doing the same thing now. Bukhara is so free, dude. I feel bad, though. It's my problem, chat. I start feeling bad. Oh, yeah, culture converting. Oh, wait, yeah, speaking of culture... I want to make that a trade company. I want to make a couple of trade companies here. Is this Muscovite? Let me look at culture. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this, I destate this. I make this a trade company. I make this a trade company. I make this a trade company. Make this a trade company. I make this a trade company. Then I do this. And at this point, culture conversion is so cheap. I think we switch to this now. This is going to give us minimum autonomy and territory, so our trade companies become even better. And then trade company investment is cheaper. And then trade this trade center. And infrastructure. How are we doing on the green guy? We're also not getting the Siberia guy. I'm pretty sure we can get the Siberia guy pretty easily. I think if we do that, we get the Siberia guy. Nabi, Nabi, Nabi. I look like I can be in a Martin Scorsese film. I had a work meeting before stream, so I was originally in the meeting. I didn't know who's going to be attending that meeting. I thought it was just going to be like a couple of the normal guys, so I was just wearing, you know, a hoodie. And then a bunch of people started coming in that I didn't recognize. And I just like sneaked off camera and switched off to a nice shirt. I'm still wearing my pajama pants. He's in a player war now. Bukhara is expanding into Mughals. What's the new job? It's a good one. I don't want to share too many details on stream. Just a personal choice. There's no like reason. They didn't tell me I had to or anything. I just don't want to share it on stream. Haha, neither. Wait for Lord. Actually, it's about both. Yep. The work meeting was about money laundering and insider trading. Yep, I'm the new pope. You heard it's from America. I work for CIA. Yep, this is part of my CIA operation. How do you know, dude? I need to kill you now. Send me your address. Time for war? Time for peace, dude. Time for peace. Is that what I look like? Is that what I look like, dude? Must take an era to go from west to east. We have some movement speed buffs. See if this is rate is scuffed. A little bit right now. It's scuffed because I don't have an extra merchant. So I'm not pulling here. If I get an extra merchant here, I can pull from Crimea. Make Crimea go up through Kiev. Might be better to just collect there. Okay, there's the extra merchant. Let's transfer from Garin. Do that. Which one did we get? Iberian Company now has 50. Ooh. Is there any other buildings I can build? I see what's happening. See what's happening. I understand it now. I dev'd all the non-trade company places, so the trade company places are not so high value. Because dev increases local trade value, trade power. You guys don't like Yikma? Attack, fight, attack. If this is a military event, I'll attack someone. Not chat. Not they're not. I actually don't know how trade companies work in EU5. No idea. Take the rest of Manchuria. Yeah, we can do that. Get like a splinter force. Takes almost a full year to go to the other side of my nation. No joke. Turn up maintenance and start drilling again. You want a little world overview / player map mode? Sure. Moogle's player kinda got roached out. It is a nice Prussia, but do you think it's a cute Prussia? Remember I had like my EU4 cute phase? Like, I play cute nations. And then the chatter came in and is like, Habibi, stop playing cute nations. I need to see you dominating or I will stop watching. That chatter's name? I'm kind of tired too. What's a great powered list? Here, I'll show you. We're just raw dev. We're the highest just like by raw dev. Who's trying to take Rome? It's just some random vassal that he hasn't integrated yet. Oman? Why is it your favorite tag? Because when you play, you go, Oman. Is that why it's your favorite? You go, Oman Alta Esports. And your name? Denkis Mimicus. Having tags is not bad in this situation. No, this is not a rule break. And anyways, it's not a rule. It's just in the mod. This is my capital, bro. My capital, little bro. My favorite tag is War Now. What tag is that? I've never heard of it. Must be a new EU5 tag. Yeah, the movement speed monument, it's probably a good idea to upgrade and dump all my manpower in it. Or is it somewhere over here? Yeah, here. It's ready giving max move speed. No point in upgrading. 10%. Land leader maneuver though. How do you upgrade a mountain? That's my question, chat. How do you upgrade a mountain? Holy. Build infrastructure to access it. Okay, fair. Fairs. Ooh, he's making claims. I'm ahead on ideas though. Where's Cheetah? Oh. I think generally this might make ducats. That's not nothing. Being close to being able to click this. till the end of the game. Pass the laws. You got absolute rule until the end of game, giving the following effects. Allow a state privilege to be revoked regardless of loyalty and the game is saying that we need to war. That game. Low.
Host. It's completely broken for Nabe. Like he was winning 4 battles when on our screen like he had lost everything.
Okay. That's a huck to a war sound. I'm so tired of it. I want my sound back. I want the play Deadlock again? No time, dude. No time. So you know they're the second person today that told me if I'm still playing Deadlock. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It doesn't really appeal to me anymore. DM about the Dune keys. Oh, that wasn't scam? I thought you got hacked. So I didn't click the link. It looks like a scam, but it's not. Dude, did you get hacked on Twitch too? I think Persia's gonna attack us. Big Persia. Oh, all of Russia will be green. I gotta check out these YouTube videos on this playlist, dude. Dude, Flory Warrior released a video.
Oh, why hello there. This is gonna be really weird, because I only do live content. I really don't know how to do an intro except banana, phallus. For the past few weeks, I've had access to U5. You fucking 5. Let's go. Oh, there's so much for not saying penis. Well, shit. I'm so good at YouTube. It's fantastic. Now, I have about
He's a great YouTuber. What is he talking about?
3 hours and 10 minutes of early access left, and then it'll be taken away from me, which... What the hell, man? You can't do this to me. I'm an addict now. Come on. What we're just gonna do is we're gonna have the first 30 minutes of Milan. Where do we start? First of all, we're gonna go start our research, and let me just grab that extra trade capacity there. I want to open up this. There are certain things that you want. You want food, okay? Listen, this game is about the long term. Yeah, it's build strategy. Yeah, it's not like let me just quickly spend 999 admin points and then I have a bunch of tax money. No, you really have to like plan ahead and all of that shit. And that means that the biggest thing that you want in this game is population. Now, what does population need? Population needs food, because if they don't eat...
He's right, chat. All of that. And Muslims fast, so they actually consume less food. If you get the Ramadan advance. I'm not even joking. Doesn't really make much sense to have a Ramadan advance. What, were they not fasting before? I mentioned that. La 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 la. Dude, I'm missing the U5 soundtrack already. La 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 la. La 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 la. Let's see cultures real quick. Culture convert here. 5. Pay them generously because I think I'm gonna go to war. I'm gonna drain my bank account. Can there be AI? Oh, that was really fast. That light to Siam. Oh, Siam didn't join. He took like nothing. I think this counts towards our battles won. Yeah, it does. That's all you had to say. You were right. We need to go on this Bukhara. We need to end this Bukhara. We need to get spoils. Manpower, regiment manpower usage. That's broken, dude. And this is how we become #1 GP. By deving and getting free wars on Bukhara. My air look like? Not so good. So good. It is. My force limit is not the best. Outside of my Russian ideas, I mean my unique government. Actually, it's not even here. Oh. Outside of my unique ideas, I have no force limit modifiers. When did we get Peter the Great? We just had him. He just died. No joke, he literally just died. He was a 666. We get Catherine in 1700s, but the requirements are a bit pain to do. Someone in chat said it's worth it. We need a ruler with 2 and less in each stat. So that's in the 1700s. Not play stupid here. Honestly, I just didn't have the gov cap to kill Bukhara. And I still don't. Oh. Bukhara's going in, no general. Dang, our build is so good against Bukhara. No, we should switch to this for now. Activate Oh, 200k manpower. Switch to this for a little bit. Where is it? Switch to establish the Streltsy real quick. And then use our new force limit to build just a bunch of Streltsy. And force limit buildings. Doesn't feel right. Beyond the Urals. Colonize Western Siberia. Create a level 2 trade center in Tomsk. Oh my god. The heck? What are all these bonuses? I couldn't unlock them. What am I gonna do with these colonists? Go for Alaska? Too late, dude. I should have killed Bukhara earlier so I can get Alaska. Missed opportunity. Keep one stack here for rebels, like we did last time. You know what? It's a good idea. Where is it? From here. Dev. Yeah, Spain is really powerful. I'm already almost done. This should be a TC, I think. Trade centers are usually good places to TC because you want to get the most value out of a TC without having to TC like the entire area. Because states give more manpower. Especially when we're doing a one culture build. Oh man, I'm catching up to Spain and Dev. Dude, with quantity ideas? Oh man. We get the force limit. It's gonna be huge. Where are these rebels? Middle hegemon's occupied. All that we need is Spain to lose a war and have more troops than him. I think it's 1.4 million. That didn't even touch our thing at all. We can still take this 5 morale. Honestly, I'm just gonna take it now. It's 100 years. Will the game last past 70? Dude, I still have Golden Age. Oh, I'm such a free gamer. It's time to go crazy, crazy, crazy. I think, chat. Thoughts? Okay, so when I want a war, it's time for you to. It's time for you to dev. When I want a dev, oh, it's time for you to fight wars. Which one is it, chat, dude? You're confusing me. Korea is pretty much up for grabs. We want Korea. Just want Bukhara's lands. I think we just truce break Bukhara and eat more. Just eat all of Bukhara. Nom 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 nom. This Russia is massive, dude. Wait, that was an overextension event. I shouldn't have clicked it. What do I do about GovCap? I have a lot of modifiers to GovCap. Because I think the mod adds more GovCap from text. Yeah, this is way more than... Is malaria a thing in EU5? It is, yeah. You can't just conquer all of Africa as Portugal anymore, chat. In EU5. There is a way I think you can get around malaria, though. So you can still conquer like that. Oh, if I get rid of my loans, I can get construction cost, construction time. Oh. Oh, yeah, we should do a war, dude. Give me morale event. Give me morale event. Give me morale event. Let me drill as much as I can. Three. Thank you, dumb idiot. These are actually prescription glasses. They're supposed to reduce migraines. I don't know, chat. Did I get scammed? Did you see my EU5 video? Been like a year since the dumb idiot stream. A year. Almost eco hegemon? I don't think so. Do you think EU5 will reach EU4 success? I think it will. I said this already. And on Saturday, I'm going to be giving a detailed review as well as analysis of the video that I posted today, talking more about mechanics and stuff like that. And by the way, I went, not because of your question, it's just because I've said this many times. I think that if they focus on optimization and stop the game from being so laggy when you're high pops or when you're moving around a lot of troops, and the mechanics work good, as and they just like really focus on getting it to run smoothly versus just adding a bunch of features that no one will use, I think it will surpass EU4 by far. I think it will be their biggest game. I said this already. This is not like their other releases. Right now it is not the best optimization, but that's normal in the dev cycle. It's usually near the end. Austria-Hungary. Oh, we're gonna go help.
Up, dude.
We're gonna go help. How do we stop this?
Should I call you now?
Yeah, call me in.
Yeah. Just so you know, there's a chance Persia might like attack you, so don't use all your manpower. Smart.
I have 2 million.
Okay, then use like all of your manpower. You're fine. My army is poop though. You pretty much have to solo this. I have like 400k.
How do I even get there?
That's Arabia? No, never mind. I guess split transports in from here. HD.
I can just move through. Literally can just move through. What the heck?
Oh, I lost a 21%. Unlucky. Oh, the line, man.
More troops come.
Oh, that's a lot of guys over there. Holy.
Asking to give max money, but I don't. Okay.
What?
Something just really good happened.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I have 5 morale. Lol.
Battle really hard.
You should just die. Yeah, it's too late. Make sure you don't lose cannons in the bottom one. Yeah, leave now. Leave now.
Bottom one.
Yeah, bottom.
Need to not overstack there.
Is it a step at angle yet? You probably can, unless we can.
Yeah, Chad, that was a divine pulse event.
Oh, the one with like 5 discipline and all that stuff, the morale. Isn't there also like a really bad one that you can't get? You don't have enough cannons on the fort. I'm doing 500 IQ bad here.
Oh, he really wants me peace out, chat. I did want to fight Persia.
Yeah, don't like feel obligated to help me. I'm not coming back to this next week anyway. I'm just here today. I don't care what you do.
I'll just take Max.
Sure.
Let's let the Ottomans die, I guess. Eclipse didn't want to play it anymore.
That's fine. I'm just gonna get like a billion mercs and one at the guy. Maybe push it or something.
Boom. Oh. Oh. My favorite mod in EU? No. Like for multiplayer? Aminar is a pretty good mod. Not a massive mod guy. Oh, my favorite modifier? Modifier. Oh, damage received modifiers are always fun. Dev cost. Oh yeah, that's the best one. Sorry. %5 dev cost. Oh, when did we lose this? Message him. I'm ready to fight. Do you get to play EU5 or not? Is there a nation that has it in vanilla? Triple manpower from religious wars? I don't think so. If there is, it's probably some obscure, hard to get tag. The custom nations one. Very underrated custom nations idea. Next session chat, we war. Like right in the beginning of session. Gotta use this modifier. Dude, I saw someone's EU5 post because I was looking at everyone else's posts. And someone wrote, why do you write this is EU4? This is clearly not EU4. Because the auto-generated the game title. Poland's free? Oh, same strength. Be a good war. We can just switch this willy-nilly. We just go here. Concentrate Metropolitan. Here, Concentrate Metropolitan. Back at full. So much land to do that with. Next horse upgrades, next tech. We need next tech. Does Western unit pips get better now? Should I switch immediately to Western? That is better. We ended on 666. Anyways, chat, I'm really pooped. I had a really tough morning. I'm super pooped. Let's look at the save real quick. Third largest army, fifth highest income, most provinces, highest dev, most province value. Next session, we lock in and we just do player wars until the end of the campaign. I mean, we gotta do something. We can't just keep building forever, dude. Because I think even if we just sit and build for the rest of the game, we still won't be full built. Take a quick look at save. I'm done streaming for today. Thank you so much for the stream, for watching the stream. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Get this out. I don't need to stay awake anymore. I don't need the nick. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for all the subs. Let's look at manpower. Oi, 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 oi. We just throw men at the problem. The Scandinavia is cute. Strong, too. Force limit is a problem though. Okay. Yeah, we're like nearing their army size. He said I'm almost same strength level as Ottomans. Yeah, dude. Yeah. These guys' force limits. We need 1.6k to surpass Spain and mill hegemon. With mill, we go get our next mill idea. Mill here, land force limit. Probably do this. But manpower force limit. I need it. Yeah, there you go. Very high morale. He also has golden. You're also free gaming. I don't feel bad about free gaming anymore. Any good missions left? We have. Let's see. So we have colonize Alaska. Nope. Ooh. We can go for these provinces. That's easy. Westernize the military. We're very close. Get 2.5 discipline permanently. Navy. That's not happening. I mean, we can try to make the Navy tradition thing happen. We have the sailors. Yes, you do get 5 more missions after completing this mission in the Age of Revolutions. Final 3 missions. The UA is not dead. It's so back. Making big money on UA. Holy China moment. And it's a GP. Wow, actually. It's high dev. If we look at like development of nations, UA is number 3. The non-colonial brothers. Little tiny Commonwealth. And then there's me, Russia. Alright. Yeah. We know what needs to be done next session. And I'll see you guys later. Mexico number 4 in dev. Yeah, these colonies are pretty strong in this mod. Especially with the formables. Colonies without formables are already really strong. I mean, they got nerfed a bunch. But yeah. I'm gonna go take a nap, guys. Oh, I'll see you guys. Tomorrow was supposed to be Kebab Chef stream in the morning. But that's not happening anymore. I'm gonna see you guys. I don't know when the next stream is. New YouTube video soon, though. I'm working on a video of Venice. I'm working on 3 EU4 MP videos, a Stellaris single player video, and a Vic 3 single player video. All coming out on my YouTube channel. Check out YouTube. EU5, exclamation mark EU5. Oh, it's Kakos talking about his own nation. Check out the EU5 video. Check it out. We already watched it mid-game. Full review and impressions video this Saturday. See you then. Oh yeah, you can also check other YouTubers' playlists. Check out other players' playlists. This is everyone that released the EU5 video sanctioned by Paradox. Ooh, Booba! Booba! My favorite streamer, Poggies! Sorry. I saw Booba in the thumbnail, so I clicked. They're also playing Ottomans. Nice choice.
さらに史実同様、コンスタンティノープルことコンスタンティニエへの遷都も可能です。文化や宗教は当然ビザンツ
Constantinople! Woo! I need to collab with this Japanese streamer. Do I become a VTuber? Too much work, dude. I'd rather you guys just see my tired face. Bye, guys.